26. Appearances in the third region of air. 8th February, 1847. All such phenomena, however, must not be regarded as completely similar, since among the luminous meteors there are also really some which ignite in such a way that with the ignition a burning really takes place. But in spite of this, the ignition of such meteoric bodies nevertheless originates from the third air region, whereby, however, the act of burning occurs only when such a meteor of a larger diameter reaches the second, or sometimes even the first air region of the Earth, and has a very fast movement. Because a medium fast or already more approaching a strong retardation movement does not cause the combustible ignition. A meteor must travel at least 4 to 5 German miles in 1 second if it is really to ignite combustibly. If the movement is slower, there is no ignition with associated combustion. As a special phenomenon in the ignition, or even better, in the glow of the meteors falling through the third air region, it is to be regarded that especially the head of such a meteor glows the most. This glow of the head, as long as it cuts through the third air region, is quite homogeneous to the glow of its tail. It is a concentrated ray reflex, and that because the solid body, which is also usually round, naturally separates the light ethereal air around itself, and especially at the front part of the head forms an air shell which makes a shining surface, like a concave mirror, around the body, which receives the light from the luminous world bodies and then sends it further down to earth. And if someone would throw a round stone very violently into pure water, he could make a small image of a similar appearance, because even if the stone is black, one will see it advance under the water with a completely white head. This whiteness of the head is nothing other than a water concave mirror formed by the rapid advance of the stone, which absorbs the rays falling into the water more concentrically and throws them back again. For this very reason, the foam of the water also appears white, because the water bubbles are, in a way, like concave mirrors, which absorb a lot of rays in themselves, and then let them radiate again in a more concentrated way. What the water shows here, the shining of a meteor shows there, namely nothing other than a concentrated reflex of the light. However, when a meteor with a larger volume descends into the second air region, it often really ignites due to friction in the heavier layer of air. If the movement is very fast, such a meteor can even come down to Earth really burning. But this happens extremely rarely. With a retarded movement, which is easily explainable in the denser air region, the extinction occurs soon, and the body falls down somewhere to the earth. However, even a larger meteor, moving very fast, would not ignite if it had not been saturated with the very easily combustible ethereal air of the third region. This ethereal air is then the actual combustible essence of such a meteor when it has reached the denser air region. This is now the whole of the special appearance in our third region of air, and also including the special characteristic of this very region. It is now only a question of showing how this air and the appearances occurring in it are seen from the earth. As for how the meteors are seen, no further explanation is needed. But there are other phenomena that arise from this air, and these we must also touch, so that we then know everything that belongs to the material part of the earth's body. You will have often seen such completely white, fluffy so-called lamb clouds. These clouds are extremely delicate and so transparent that they allow even the light of the stars to shine through, as if almost completely unclouded. These lamb clouds are the highest that occur above the Earth's body. These clouds are formed by a certain kind of marriage of the pure ether with the third region of air. They are actually no clouds at all, but only wave-like movements on the highest surface of the third air region, which are caused by the fact that certain light beings begin to approach the earth through the wide ether, which light beings originate from the solar bodies in a way already known to you. Since these substantial entities already have a certain measure of weight, they produce a wave-like movement themselves by their impact on the easily excitable surface of the third air region, which movement lets the incoming sunlight pass through no longer directly, but with some refractions, and this variable refraction on the waves of the third air region then causes just that appearance, which can be seen as white, finely woven lamb's wool clouds. The fact that after such phenomena usually thunderstorms like to occur is quite clearly caused by the arrival of foreign guests, who are asked by the spiritual earthlings in a certain way from what country they come and what they are doing here. With such questions, there are always some frictions and negotiations. How such new arrivals can find a place here in a way harmless for the earth. If the new arrivals are willing to submit patiently, which is seldom the case, then the lamb clouds are not followed by a thunderstorm. But if this is not the case, then orderly power is justly used, and then that has to submit, which should have submitted voluntarily before. This would be again a peculiar phenomenon from this third region of the air, and also as it is seen from the earth. Finally, however, there is another one, which is probably seen less frequently, but is nevertheless very noteworthy, because it is, so to speak, a purely spiritual phenomenon, which can nevertheless be perceived with the fleshly eye. This phenomenon appears only in extremely warm days, and is visible in a kind of white-blue stripes. These stripes are a moment of the blessed spirits, where they meet socially in a certain way, and enjoy themselves in peace, and then further discuss what they will do, and how the offices will be submitted to new spirits for administration. On such a day, the earth is almost deadly quiet. Not a leaf stirs, and not a cloud of the usual kind can be seen. And the earth is oppressively hot. But this state never lasts long. If this session is interrupted in some way, then one notices movements again, and especially when new spirits are put in charge of the air, the mountains, the seas, etc., then it is not seldom the case that the new brooms sweep cleaner than the old ones. Therefore, after such phenomena, there will soon be a lot of all kinds of winds, and the air gravity gauges will be diligently set to variable. And with such phenomenon, there will be no constant weather for quite some time. These above described white-blue stripes are therefore nothing other than in a certain way calmly gathered spiritual armies, namely on the surface of the third and purest air region, which can be seen in this now described way, even by the fleshly eye of the human being. Spiritually trained people who have dual vision would see more than just white-blue stripes. But such people have become even rarer in this time as the diamonds in the northern regions of the earth, where they also are, but as said, extremely rare, when everything began to be modelled from iron, and when they do occur, they are small, unsightly, and thus of no particular value. Or there are now desperately few poles and Petruses left. With it, however, also the natural or material representation of the earth is at an end, and we will therefore next have our contemplation on the spiritual earth.